What's up, y'all? It's Ty, and we are back here with another reaction, reacting to the most absurd takes in NBA history. Now, shout out to my guy moderntwothree for coming up with this video. I'm interested to see, of course, you got Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless on your first crazy take, absurd take of NBA history. Not surprised there. Make sure to go show Mad Love and Sports my guy. The link to his channel will be down below in the description. Let's get it.
So Stephen A., is LeBron James a first ballot Hall of Famer right now?
Without question. It's nothing to even think about.
I think that Tiago Splitter is already a first ballot Hall of Famer in the Basketball Hall of Fame because
I get the point he's trying to make, but Tiago Splitter is ridiculous.
everybody gets in. I think Carissa's going to get in due time. Stephen A. Smith will get in due time. Maybe. That's a big maybe, but...
Hot takes. We make them all the time. Sometimes
I make a lot of hot takes.
Extremely biased.
And I am
Or other
biased.
times, we might have saw something once or twice, then we got persuaded instantly.
Facts.
And hey, I'm not going to act like all our predictions suck. How about Mike Malone? The dude wouldn't trade the 41st pick for the 1st or 4th pick in the draft.
Some of these other young bigs who are all talented. You know, the kid in New York, Minnesota, Philly. I don't know any of their names. I know this kid's name, though. I know Nikola Jokic, and I wouldn't trade him for anybody in the world. He's a special young man. He's a special young talent. And
This is crazy. Even way back when that he is saying this.
he's only going to get better.
That isn't the only wild take that happened to work out. What about a permanent one? Remember the 2011 finals team with Dirk that beat the Heat's Big Three? Well, Jason Terry was so confident that team was going to win the chip, he got it tattooed on his arm before the season even started.
We have what it takes right
What? That is nuts. And then they won it, and what they were, man, that's ridiculous. That's crazy. That is insanity. But he won.
now in this room to win a championship. I'm going to get a tattoo of the trophy right now to show you what I mean. Man, you crazy, Jet. That's what these guys tell you crazy, man. I don't know what you're talking about.
That is what I was thinking. Am thinking.
Show up to shoot around the next morning, coach done talking. I showed coach. I'm serious, baby. We're going to win it all this year. Right here. I got a tattoo to prove it.
Jet, you're a nut job for that. I can't even lie.
That is
Jason Terry must
insane.
know an incredible amount of ball. Because me personally, I don't care if I got MJ, LeBron, and Wilt Chamberlain on my team. I'm not getting a championship tattoo until the second that clock expires.
I still wouldn't get that tattoo, but if I wanted it, I'm not getting it. Because when you got to remove tattoos, that's horrible. He probably wouldn't remove it, though.
Game 7 of the finals. Because then you'll end up like this. Spoiler alert, the Warriors won the 2022 championship.
That's what I'm saying. And that tattoo, it looks horrible, man.
And the Lakers, they didn't even make the playoffs. Here, I fixed the tattoo for you, bro. But even though they may not be permanent, you know what they say. Once something's on the internet, it's out there forever. And man, let me tell you, there's some absurd takes out there on the internet. Some hot takes, predictions, people standing on business, saying things they were 100% sure was going to happen. And in hindsight, they look like a clown. Looking like
I think a lot of people do this, though. Like,
he was from the Macroverse. Shout out my homie Penny, though. But really, some people do have some of the most absurd takes you'll ever hear. People who will say something that you won't even want to have a ball conversation with them, just showing how much ball they do not know. Like whoever wrote this article. Genuinely, my favorite tweet of all time. Because Kentucky...
that is horrible. Like, that is genuinely horrible. Like, what?
He was nasty in 2014-15. They went 38-1. But then they're putting up against arguably the best NBA team
Like,
of all
exactly.
time.
What do we... And the GOAT in MJ, or what are the GOATs in MJ outside of Will? Like, what are we talking about?
Kentucky starting 5. The Harrison twins, Trey Lyles, Karl Anthony Towns, Willie Cauley-Stein, and D-Book off the bench. Even if you throw D-Book in the starting 5, so one of the Harrisons, Book, Lyles, Cat,
Team is
Cauley-Stein,
getting dogged.
I think that team would be like plus 800 to make the playoffs in the start of the NBA season. And they're comparing them to the best NBA team ever. You're setting them up like crazy. I can't even lie though. I was so confident that Willie Cauley-Stein was the second coming of DeAndre.
I thought Willie Cauley-Stein was going to be good, too. I loved him in college, man. I loved
the
him.
cold takes list.
Stolen back by Andrew Harrison.
He was so cold in college. He really was.
Cauley-Stein.
Let's stay on the topic of college players. Actually, some draft blunders. How about this?
The Sacramento Kings select Marvin Yes! Yes! I didn't want Luka.
Okay, I don't care if you're excited about Bagley, if you liked him, but saying I didn't want Luka now is crazy.
Let's go. We took Marvin Bagley. I'm glad we didn't take Luka Doncic. That guy is going to suck. Then you fast forward to today, Luka's averaging a 34-point triple-double.
Luka's so good.
Bagley
I'm excited to watch him hoop, man.
currently averages 13 and 8 on the Wizards.
Against somebody else that's not my
Although
Wolves.
he's been cooking kind of recently, I can't lie. 16 points in 17
Dude's
minutes.
playing
7 for 8
16 minutes a game, and you drafted him over Luka. What are we doing?
from the field. 10 points in 16 minutes. Low-key, kind of nice.
Stop
But
it.
he isn't Luka. And although Luka had all these accolades from overseas, there were still so many doubters. I believe that Alonzo Trier is better than Luka Doncic, and Alonzo went undrafted. That's why my second round comments I stand by, but that doesn't mean I don't like Luka. I just know that there are other players that are better or equally as capable to produce the same, if not more. Hashtag Yoda.
That's crazy. And Alonzo Trier, in college was cold, but this is crazy.
My guy thought he was wise like that low
He
grade
thought
dude.
he thought he
Who's the
knew
dumbest
something.
character of all time? They say Patrick Star. That makes sense. Hashtag Patrick. Nah, but really, Trier was kind of that guy for a little bit. His first season in the league, he averaged 11 points per game, but then he only played one more season. Honestly, I don't know what happened to Trier. He was supposed to be him.
Shot clock is off. Hardaway to Trier. Trier drives down.
I mean, even that play alone shows like the glimpse he had offensively. Man, look who's on the court for the Knicks though for a second. Like, this is why Alonzo Trier is playing. Is that Ron Baker in the corner? Do you guys even know who Ron Baker is? I mean, oh my gosh, this team is disgusting.
I may as well get the last Luka take out of the way right now since we're on the topic of him. How about this one? Hoop Central tweeted out, "What's the worst NBA hot take you've ever heard?" Someone replied that the worst hot take is that Luka is a superstar. And he's
Okay,
Tobias
comparing him to Tobias Harris is nuts. They don't even have the same game.
2.0. Saying that
What?
Luka is the next Tobias Harris is like saying CJ Stroud is the next Gardner Minshew. And by the way, Luka was already a year into his career at this point. And he
This
just
is
won
worse than comparing CJ to Gardner Minshew, in my opinion. Like, what?
Rookie of the Year. Luka averaged more points in his rookie season than Tobias ever averaged in an entire season.
Tobias at his
Not that
prime
Toby
was
sucks
good,
or
though.
anything. He's a good third or fourth option. I mean, he had a nice little insanity run this year. But now Sixer fans are saying he's mid again. And the Kings are sleeping with the refs.
Tobias Harris. You know, the media, NBC Sports Philly, everybody, every time you have a good game, Tobias Harris is coming out of his slump. Tobias Harris just needs his confidence back. Tobias just needs to
This guy's a next level hater. You can just see it, man.
get in a rhythm, get put in his all this bullshit,
Has this guy ever played basketball in his life? Get him off my screen, man.
bro. That they've been saying for 5 years.
Get him off my screen.
You did the same thing again that you've been doing all 5 years. You had a good game. You follow it up with an absolutely historically fraudulent performance.
Stinker.
Oh my god, this guy hates Tobias Harris. While we're on the subject of what's going on in the NBA right now though, we may as well look into some horrible takes for this season. How about this one? I mean, this is going to be the best team Cade Cunningham has ever played for, right? Their GM added coaching, shooting, lob threats.
Dog, look at this team. This team is horrible. Bogey's the only other guy, and obviously Duran came out of his shell a little bit, but this team is horrid, man. Monte's decent, but this team is horrid.
Makers, explosive athletes. Monty Williams can mix these lineups any way he wants. You know, if the Pistons won about 40 more games, I'd say this is a pretty good take.
That
They're
team
12 and
couldn't.
60.
That team
They're
stinks.
the worst team in the NBA. This is the worst team Cade Cunningham has played for. This is more so how the Pistons season's going.
We couldn't make a shot. The missed shots turned into transition for them.
That's basketball, though. You miss shots, you turn it over, it turns into transition. He's not wrong.
Make a shot. Just a tough
It's a make or miss
shooting
league.
night for us.
And the
Staying on
Pistons missed a lot of
last
shots.
season, the Pistons had a really nice game against the Kings. Well, they lost, but only by 9. But Jalen Duren did hold Sabonis to only 23 points.
How tough is defending Domantas Sabonis, defending him without fouling?
It's not that hard.
It's easy to guard Sabonis without fouling him. So what does Sabonis do? Next time they played the Pistons, 37 points with only 4 free throw attempts.
That's the thing, though. You see it so much in the NBA, and I'll stand by saying this. In the regular season, guys, like, they just go through the motions a little bit. If somebody says something like that, then you get up a little more, man.
I guess it's pretty easy to guard him. But pretty similarly, the Heat, after beating up on the Pelicans, a 106-95 win, Jimmy Butler, well, here's how confident he was that they'd sweep him for the season series.
So I'm thinking a lot of your fans really love that term, kind of like don't poke the bear. Do you think, like, kind of with this tension and the way everything kind of goes down, do you think you'll carry a little bit of that tension into the next game?
Oh, the next time we play them?
Yeah.
I mean, sure. We'll beat them the next time too. We're just a better team. I'm not gonna say that they're not a good team, but I don't think this really matters. I think that, you know, when we get them on our home court, it's gonna be a different game. I hope that they're healthy, and it's gonna be the same.
How about you get healthy, Jimmy? It seems like recently you're always injured. How about you work on your body a little bit, and maybe you'll make it into the first round next year? You know, like, I'm so tired of this clown Jimmy Butler. Oh, maybe they're healthy. How about you get healthy? How about that?
Outcome.
Well, fast forward to their next matchup. This wasn't even a game. A 23-point win for the Pelicans. Even though Jimmy did double down and say that the Heat are still a better team than the Pelicans, even though they have a worse record. Also, Butler only had 17 points, shooting 5 for 12 in this one. Maybe we'll get a Heat.
Jimmy Butler is just so okay. Like, he's okay. In his prime was way better. At this stage, he's okay.
Pelicans finals. Get a little rivalry going. Even though a Heat Pelicans finals will bring in about like 10 viewers, which would all be the team's families, and a majority of them wouldn't watch it either. Honestly, after that fight they had, though, I would tune into a Heat Pelicans finals. I can't even lie.
A Heat Pelicans finals is crazy.
Even though you got a better chance of hitting the lottery, then on the way to cashing the lottery ticket, you get struck by lightning, and then 20 minutes later, Steve Kerr calls you and tells you he's benching Curry in the fourth quarter for you. There's a better chance that happens than the Heat Pelicans finals.
A Heat Pelicans finals is nuts.
I wouldn't even be surprised if Step 3 really did happen. But speaking of Curry, thank God 2019 was the last year he was good. Because you remember when Patrick Beverley told Steph Curry, you had the last 5 years, the next 5 are mine. Well, since
Pat Bev is actually crazy, I think, though. So, like, I can't even, like, get that mad at this. Like, Pat Bev is legitimately crazy.
2019, Curry's made 4 All-Star teams, 4 All-NBA teams.
He's legitimately crazy.
Title, a championship, and a Finals MVP. But Pat Bev technically wasn't wrong. He made a defensive team. Curry made none. So you never know. When he said this, he could have been referring to who was going to make more defensive teams in the next...
Pat Bev did more than Steph Curry in Pat Bev's world.
5 years. And if that was the case...
He's not entirely wrong.
Pat, you were right all along.
The Timberwolves are going to the playoffs.
Man, being at this game, it was nuts, man.
Staying on the Steph Curry topic, Charles Barkley had one of the most absurd wrong takes ever. Here's Charles Barkley on Steph Curry and Klay Thompson in 2013. I don't think they could play together. You're right. 4 championships sucks. They'll never get 5.
Chuck don't know ball, man. Like, what? Get him off my TV, please.
The funniest part, though, today, if you look up a list of the greatest duos of all time, they'll be on every list.
They're up there for sure.
17th, which seems way too low.
17th is
4th,
crazy.
Any list you check, you're going to find the Steph Curry-Klay Thompson duo. But speaking of duos, even getting their own Sports Illustrated cover together, this duo is going to be fun. Steve Nash and Dwight Howard.
Why do I feel like this duo was not fun?
A total of 44 games together is considered fun, then hell yeah, that was definitely fun. But this was some of the worst seasons of both of their careers. When they play with each other, Nash, 12.6 points per game,
so I was gonna say,
6.4 assists.
I don't remember this ever being fun.
Dwight, 16.2 points per game, 12.9 rebounds.
Dwight was good. My goodness. Hold up, D12. That's hoping.
So I guess not horrible numbers.
Dwight was hoping.
Definitely not Sports Illustrated cover numbers. This is more like how these guys played together.
Secure the ball. Nash tied up. Ball deflected.
And Nash and Howard getting into it about... Nash was telling him to move. Howard said he's wide open. The smaller guard.
Yeah, look at D12. How is Nash? I mean, I guess he could lob it up, but I mean, that's not easy either. I don't know. I see both their points here, man.
Howard wanted it thrown up, but this is the garbage you can't have. You know, you can get into it, but it's just happening too often. And it's always over the ball instead of over defense.
Well, speaking of Dwight Howard,
look at D12 and Steve Nash. Again, I wasn't that into the NBA back then, but it's like I do not remember that ever be like working out for that.
How about this one? Watch Dwight Howard win back-to-back championships with the Rockets. Well, Dwight ended up playing 3 seasons with the Rockets. No championships, unfortunately. But the Rockets have 2 championships in franchise history. Not a Dwight diss, one of the most fun players to watch growing up, but both the Rockets chips came with Hakeem Olajuwon. Who did this dude think Dwight was going to be for the Rockets?
Come on, man. Like, what am I watching right now? What am I watching right now? But literally, Dwight going to Houston and winning 2 championships is just crazy. Like, maybe when he was in Orlando, but... What?
I knew it! I knew it!
Alright, I want to look at some funny takes, like this one. Take Isaiah Thomas, shrink up to 4'8", give him 50 pounds of pure muscle without losing any speed, add 2 feet to his wingspan and 10 inches to the circumference of his head.
Okay, whoever made this needs to be studied. Genuinely. Like, whoever made this needs to be studied. What are we talking about?
How good is he? Then he gave us a little rundown. 4'8", 235 of pure muscle, 8'2" wingspan, very wide head. It prevents the lower portion of opponent's
He's way worse.
And it doesn't weigh him down. Can he still make it to the league?
He's
is
way
he better
worse.
or worse? Defensively, is he now better with a little extra muscle?
Bro,
and
he is
wingspan, or is the
4'8".
height too much to overcome? As funny as this question is alone, thankfully, he attached a visual of how it would look after this. Here it is. Honestly, now that I think about it, short, jacked, insanely skilled still, this is just Eric Bledsoe.
He got muscles for no reason, Eric Bledsoe.
Come on, man. Bledsoe in his prime was tough, though. Bledsoe was good in his prime.
I mean, they used to call Eric Bledsoe mini LeBron. But for some reason, Isaiah Thomas always gets dragged into these funny hypotheticals. Who would be a better defender? Andre Roberson or Isaiah Thomas with a gun? Isaiah Thomas can't actually shoot the player since that's a foul. Probably flagrant, but we'll see how Tony Brothers sees it.
Tony Brothers, man, he want to be a lawyer, so be careful.
Can, however, shoot the ball midair on the way up and that's a block. Assume the crowd is protected by bulletproof glass. He can also use it for intimidation since the other players will have no idea why he has a gun on him. Bro, if Isaiah Thomas is allowed to shoot the ball on the way up, you give him 2 days of training with Michael from GTA, he's averaging 20 blocks a night.
Fuck you doing? Nothing? Really? Go away. Shit. Fuck you! What the fuck? Disrespectful little asshole!
Keeping it on the phone.
What is going on? What is going on?
This guy actually brought up a really good question. Picture this. If Brad Wanamaker married TyNBA, would he achieve the goal of wanting a maker? Brad Wanamaker wants a maker, as indicated by his name, I want a maker. Well, if they get married, his last name would go from Wanamaker to Maker.
Who has the time to sit here and come up with these things?
Which means he got what he wanted. However, this assumes TyNBA is classified as the male counterpart. Otherwise, Brad would still be wanting a maker, and Thad would lose his maker. Honestly, this
video is titled "The Most Absurd Takes in NBA History." This is not
a really good question. Would Brad finally get a maker, or would Thon lose his maker, then want a maker? So, find out on the next episode of Dragon Ball Z. I'd never watched Dragon Ball Z, I just know that's what they say. I think. But besides that, I want to talk about one of my favorite cold takes ever. Look at these predictions. Markelle Fultz, star. Lonzo Ball, star. Jason Tatum, bust. Josh Jackson, star. De'Aaron Fox, role player.
This is crazy. Every one of these is wrong.
Jonathan Isaac slept on star. Larry Markkinen, bust. Frank the motherfucking Tank, huge ass star. This looks like one of my bet slips.
Everything
loss.
Everything is wrong.
Honestly, someone get me in contact with this guy so I could get some lottery numbers, so I know which numbers not to play. How can you get every single one wrong?
Everyone.
8 for 8 on misses, genuinely impressive. Except, I guess he was right about Frank Ntilikina.
Another look. Ntilikina lost it on the way up.
Touch that. Wait, can't touch that. What on earth?
This guy botching every pick.
Wait, I'm confused. He can touch that, right? Or did he? Never mind. If he jumped, then he can't. I don't know. That was a confusing play. I don't think. No, if he jumped, but he kind of lost it before he jumped, didn't he? Let me see.
Another look.
Oh no, he can't touch that. Never mind. I don't think he can.
Can't touch that. What on earth?
This guy botching every pick is rough, but that isn't the only draft day blunder there's been. Killian Hayes is my #1 prospect of the 2020 draft.
This dude,
Here's
Kevin
why.
O'Connor, man. I just don't know about
Unfortunately,
him.
I know Pistons fans love their guy Killian Hayes, but 4 years later, he's no longer even in the NBA. I remember seeing something. I couldn't find it. I keep looking for it, but I still can't find it. But it said something about how there's no real draft busts like an Anthony Bennett or like a Jan Vesely anymore. But Killian Hayes brought that monster back. Shout out to Killian Hayes. Wouldn't let the nature of bust go extinct.
Killian Hayes did just not ever pan out, man.
A career 8 points on 38-28 splits. And even picked after Killian Hayes, Denny Advia and Tyrese Halliburton. But come on, Detroit, give the guy one more chance. Although, I know you guys won't.
I wouldn't give him any more chances. Make him do it overseas or something, or in the G League first.
Blunders. I always talk about how much I like Bill Simmons on this channel. Well, look how excited this dude was when the Celtics drafted James Young.
To recap, we got a guy who could have been a lottery pick, and we got a guy named Marcus Smart. I'm so mad I'm going to be on YouTube now for that fist pump. I just resigned to it.
You are.
It's going to happen. I know it's going to happen.
James Young played a career 95 games. He averaged...
I honestly thought James Young would be tough too, but...
2 points, 1 rebound, and 1/3 of an assist. And Bill Simmons was all hyped over this dude.
Maybe it's because he was a smooth lefty, but I don't know. I thought he was going to be tough.
With the 15th selection of the 2013 NBA draft, the Milwaukee Bucks select Giannis Antetokounmpo. What the hell is Milwaukee doing? Hate this pick 10 ways coming and going. Well, Giannis only ended up being a 2-time MVP.
That guy better not be able to even be a Bucks fan anymore, honestly.
A champion? Maybe this guy's bar was 3 MVPs and 2 championships. In that case, he'd be right. This would be an awful draft pick. But in reality...
Giannis could get there still. Chill. He could still be...
It's funny to see when people get upset over draft picks they think are going to suck, but end up being great. There were the Knicks fans with Kristaps Porzingis.
Yeah, that's
Remember
bad.
that?
The New York Knicks select Kristaps Porzingis from Liepaja, Latvia. He last played for us.
Porzingis isn't the only
That's
current
hating
Celtic
right
that
there.
fans were upset when he got drafted, though. How about Jaylen Brown? Look at these reactions.
With the 3rd pick in the 2016 NBA draft, the Boston Celtics select Jaylen Brown.
There's like 2 people excited.
The Boston Celtics select Jaylen Brown.
Look at them. They're all mad. And now, look, he's taking him, man. Taking him to these heights.
Look at all these guys that were pissed. But then these two, they knew ball. Shout out to them. But the rest of the
That's
Celtics
facts. They
fans
were hyped.
not feeling this Jaylen Brown pick. Nowadays, Jaylen Brown, 3-time All-Star.
Jaylen Brown
Celtics
is
fans
so
wouldn't trade this
good.
guy for the
He's
world.
so good.
And honestly, he's been really impressive this season. Shout out to him. But the one thing that Jaylen Brown always gets made fun of for is they say he can't dribble with his left hand. And you know who else couldn't? Michael Jeffrey Jordan. That's why we done with the 90s. But we taking it back further to the 80s.
Low-key facts. Low-key facts. We done. Low-key facts.
How about this? Look for the Bulls to eventually trade Jordan. I wonder how that'd work out. I'll read out quick the important parts of this article. The Bulls would not be a serious playoff contender with a one-man offense named Jordan. Bro, read this. Even though the Bulls are a generally mediocre team, people are paying $10 to $15 to watch them play. That also...
That's crazy. Back then, that was a lot, though.
Remains true on the road where Chicago remains one of the better attractions. That's crazy. $10 to $15 was an expensive ticket. You deadass can't get a 3-piece chicken tender at stadiums for $15 now.
Okay, but realize inflation, man. Like, it's the same type of equivalent, probably.
Crazy times. But then the next paragraph, trading Jordan wouldn't be popular, but would bring the Bulls 2 or 3 needed players, possibly starters, that can finally get this franchise on the road to respectability. Well, whoever wrote this article, make sure he never writes another article again. I actually found...
I doubt he will. I doubt he'll write another one.
Jordan's reaction when he read this article, though.
Okay, fine. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. No problem. It became personal with me. I took offense to that.
This isn't the only bad...
Shout out to MJ, man. I wish, man. What I need to do is I need to just go back and watch MJ hoop, man. And I've seen some games, but I need to actually like go in depth and watch like one of his playoff runs and just see.
At MJ take.
all
Actually,
of the games.
not really about MJ, but in 1989, the Bulls hired Phil Jackson. Read this. Phil Jackson is a nice guy, but the availability of Hubie Brown and Dick Moeta makes him
Hubie. I like Hubie, man, so I'm not going to complain about this one.
choice. Jerry Krause has made a Michael Jordan golf championship more realistic than an NBA title.
That is crazy, though.
You're right.
Ed Elhard.
He'll get 6 of them, all with Phil Jackson. But the 2K announcers like MJ a little too much.
Looked at from every way, but it is scary to think, isn't it, about that guard combination in Portland had they drafted Michael Jordan.
Well, the West had so many strong centers back then, you can't blame Portland for taking a big. But it would have been a lot of fun, Kev, to see MJ and Drexler team up. Team up.
What in the moaning is that?
Team up.
And whoever is playing right there with the shot meter needs to get better at the game. Why are we using a shot meter?
It's crazy. But to the take, sorry Ed Elhard, you had to be part of this video. And then Phil Jackson, he went on to win 5 championships coaching the Lakers.
Phil did his
to make
thing,
things
man.
sound even worse for you. But now, since we're talking about the old eras, I'm not a big fan of comparing eras, but these next 2 takes say things that are so obviously wrong, I had to mention them. Talking about Larry Bird here. This guy wouldn't average double-digit points in any era but the one he played in. He'd barely make a rotation in today's NBA. I've got uncles that could play better defense than most of these guys he was playing against. Good passer though, he'd probably make a rotation for his playmaking. I bet he'd be decent in short spurts. Marshall, y'all bro, sit down brother. Watch a Larry Bird clip. I don't care if you're 3 years old.
I'm not going to lie. He wouldn't be a star, I don't think, in today's era. But he would play. That's my opinion on Larry. I think he'd play, but he would not be a star.
I was never even born yet for Larry Bird, but it's pretty obvious to everyone. A guy who can do this, I'm pretty sure he could play with anyone today. Matter of fact, his numbers would probably be even better today.
Larry Bird was pretty athletic, though. Like, he'd go up and dunk the ball. I don't think he'd be like a top 5 player in the league today. Like, I just don't. But who knows? Again, I hate comparing eras because it's just so hard to do because players are way far more talented now than they were when Larry played. But again, Larry might have been that much more talented with everything we have as far as, you know, technology now. So I don't want to compare eras either. I just don't like it. How did that not count?
Alright, that's hypothetical, and this one is kinda too, but it was way worse. I had to include it. That was crazy. Kyle Guy's the Iceman. I've never seen a guy sink 3 free throws so easily like it was nothing to get to the championship game. I would draft this dude with the first pick in the NBA draft. Nobody else would hit these free throws.
He had me until I would draft this guy with the first pick in the NBA draft. He had me until then.
Not MJ or LeBron. Well, Kyle Guy ended up playing 53 NBA games with an average of 3 points per game. This dude is drafting him with the first pick. A draft with Zion and Ja.
He's got a clutch gene, though. What is this guy on the ground doing over there?
A guy over both them because he hits some free throws. Respect to him for not being an NBA GM.
Facts.
Speaking of LeBron, though, the other day, actually, just watch this.
I don't even remember if I've ever seen LeBron posterize somebody.
I think I saw this clip too, and I'm like, what are we talking about, man? Didn't he put Jason Terry on an absolute poster on a lob?
I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen him.
Oh, damn. I never knew LeBron never postered someone.
Wade from behind takes it away. Chalmers.
Like, come on, man. What is this then? Oh, it's not Jason Terry. That's, no, it is Jason Terry.
Well, at least he never posted
I think that was
someone.
Jason Terry, yeah.
Here comes LBJ!
Well, the thing
Poor Bielitsa,
is,
man.
at least LeBron never put somebody on a poster. Alright, I think you get it. LeBron has put a lot of people on a lot of different
Poor
posters.
Tim Duncan.
But at least LeBron is 30. Thank God this fuckery won't go on for much longer. That's a genuine classic tweet. Over 40,000 likes. And to make it
I will say, most people do not have the longevity Bron does. Most people don't.
funnier, since LeBron has turned 30, he's averaged 26.7 points per game.
He's a different beast,
assists.
man.
But honestly, LeBron turns 40 next year. Thank God this fuckery won't go on
Bron's
for much
a different
longer.
beast, man.
Honestly, it probably will go on for much longer.
LeBron James is the oldest player in the NBA. Your reaction?
We all remember the big...
I bet Bron gonna play for a few more years.
Three LeBron played for, of course. Bron, Wade, and Bosh. Well, remember when they lost to the Mavericks in 2011, their first year together? Jason Whitlock? Yeah, I went there. Big three, cooked. Might as well blow it up. Honestly, I'm low-key impressed he used the word cooked in 2011. I feel like that wasn't a thing. But he dug deep into it. He should pull the plug on the big three. They're done. Miami's big three, LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh.
He wanted Spoelstra gone too?
Ed Eric Spoelstra, and front-running Heat fans too. Toast. All of them. What is this dude so mad for? I would have loved to see his reaction after the Heat won the next two finals.
LeBron James captures that elusive title he so desperately coveted.
Speaking of have the wrong outings on NBA teams, how about this one? The 2015-16 Lakers. Laker Nation, I feel like we have a great chance
this dude Magic Johnson, man,
in the playoffs. That's from Magic Johnson. He knows the Lakers better than anyone, right? Well, the Lakers went 17-65 that season.
Winning 17 games is crazy.
The worst team in the West. Nice call, Magic. That's not a Magic
17
Johnson
games
take.
is
That's
nuts.
a tragic Johnson take. But that's the same we see right here. The Timberwolves Twitter was mocking everyone, saying that they're going to be bad in the
okay, why are we clowning the Timberwolves, man?
2019 season, they had 19 wins. Timberwolves admin, get a job with the Nuggets or something if you're going to
Chill, we were 2-0 that year, I think. Chill.
a tweet like that. The Wolves were a mess that season. But this was the year before the Wolves took Anthony Edwards first overall. I want to bring it back to the draft. A few years prior, Ben Simmons was getting drafted. Michael Wilbon tweeted, "You can have Ben Simmons if you like. I'll take Bryce Johnson 100 times out of 100 on my NBA team." First, I don't even know who Bryce Johnson is.
I was going to say, am I casual? I was going to say, is this the guy that played on North Carolina? That's what I was going to say. But I was like, I don't remember him in the league. I do remember him at North Carolina, though.
Cook taken away by...
He was so athletic, yes, but come on, man.
And he'll push it to Bryce Johnson, who not only dunks it home, but gives out a big woo after he did it.
All right, yeah, this dude is nice. But years later, everybody was retweeting that Wilbon tweet. Remember, Ben Simmons was an all-NBA player.
Ben Simmons was so good in his prime. And it's just like, where would Ben Simmons be if he could have stayed healthy? That's what I want to know.
He was great at one point. Wilbon said, "For all the clowns out there retweeting that I said I'd take Bryce Johnson over Ben Simmons, the context was college basketball." Until you circle back.
He said NBA team. I'm confused.
See, he literally said on my NBA team. Nice try, Wilbon. But besides that one, I found an even worse young player take. The more people I talk to, the more I watch, the more I see a lot of Kidd and Moutier's game.
Emmanuel Mudiay compared to Jason Kidd. Think about that for a second.
Not real explosive, controls tempo, ball on a string. Alright, this one's crazy. Emmanuel Mudiay to Jason Kidd is just awful. Although I can admit, during the draft, I thought Mudiay was him.
I don't know if I've watched enough Mudiay to even see, but
he still is one of the coolest game winners I've ever seen.
Pass, he's got Mudiay. Mudiay lets it go.
Pushing it back a little
crazy. Y'all see Brett Brown on the sidelines?
Further, everyone remembers when the Pistons took Darko Milicic over Melo, Wade, and Bosh. Well, check this out. This was Milicic's coach during the draft process. He's going to own the game. Own the game. You're going to have to build a new arena. The only thing that can destroy a kid like that is a woman. Well, Milicic actually did build an arena with all the bricks he shot.
A big part of the defensive story.
Darko is horrible.
Darko tries a tray. Comes up a little shy.
Alright, I have two more takes. I saved these two for last because I know you guys of course love the stars in today's game. Well, SGA in 2020, an anonymous GM said that SGA isn't even on the same level as Evan Mobley and Jalen Green. As much as I love Shea, he's not quite at the same level those guys are.
I mean, Jalen Green back then was not good. I don't know what we're talking about. He's a lot better now. Mobley is
he's not at the same level. He's like 10
right
levels
now,
above.
not great, man.
Good thing this GM stayed anonymous though.
Yeah,
that's
great.
one thing I never understood. How can you be an NBA GM and be this off? But besides regular GMs who are off, there's Twitter GMs. This guy was in a debate about Giannis in 2019 after he won the MVP. Here's the 15 players he named better than Giannis: LeBron, AD, KD, Harden.
What? Bro said healthy DeMarcus.
Paul George, Jokic, Curry, Clay, Dame, Russ, Kawhi, Embiid, Draymond, Kyrie, and a healthy Boogie. All better than two-time MVP
Healthy
Giannis
DeMarcus is
Antetokounmpo.
crazy.
I mean, do I even need to explain why this is a bad take? Look at this list. All great players, but better than Giannis is crazy.
It is crazy. Even Draymond. Better than Giannis is nuts.
There's always crazy takes in every sport and every facet in life, really. But these are the craziest NBA ones I found. Which ones do you think is the craziest?
I feel like for me, like everybody has their own NBA take, but the take about Bryce Johnson is just nuts because in the NBA was never anything. So it's like, why even tweet that out? It makes no sense to me. Let me know yours. Drop a like on the video, guys. Subscribe here. Do it as always, man. I love you guys. Have a blessed day.